questions. Hello, Facebook and YouTube world. If you guys can hear this, first time I've done this, so you guys will be the test run. Where we're doing a live Enlightened conversations here with Tony, and there's drilling going on in my building in the background, which you won't hear when Tony is talking because I'm going to mute myself so it's not so loud, and hopefully my microphone drains out the drilling a little bit when I'm talking as well. But we're going to enjoy this together. If you guys have any questions at the end, I'll look at the Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube and see if there's any questions there for Tony or for me, and we'll answer those at the end. So we are going to get going. Make sure
awesome.
Make sure this is good. See that. One sec. Yeah, we should be good. All right, one sec, Tony. Technology is awesome.
It is awesome once you figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. The fact that this is even a possibility is pretty cool.
And we can do all these things, which is freaking cool.
And actually, I'm going to set up more, like, the next time, I didn't even realize, like, this streaming service, I could set up, you could stream to all sorts of places at once. LinkedIn and the Twitter live stream place, Periscope, all sorts of stuff at one time. So next time.
One time?
Yeah, all at the same. There's a service called Ustream that does all the streaming, and it just sends it to everywhere at one time. So
that's freaking cool.
Yeah.
You just taught me something right there. Boom.
I just learned this because I googled how can you live stream. Hey guys, tune in. We're getting ready to do a live Enlightened conversation, as you see. And if you guys have any questions during this, put them in the comments and we'll answer them at the end. This is going to be episode 70, which is going to come out officially on Friday. But you guys that are watching live will see it first, which is awesome. Just making sure these are running properly, and then we're going to go. Okay, awesome. Yeah, we're good. All right, let's do it.
Tell you what, those new balconies are going to be really reinforced.
I know, right? And the balcony sounds in the background, the drilling, you guys won't hear on, I don't know if you guys hear it or not on Instagram, but you guys won't hear it on Facebook and YouTube in a second. and if you listen, and all this part's going to be, I'm going to edit this out when I put the actual podcast out on iTunes, obviously. They won't have to hear all these fun technology things. All right, awesome. Well, we're good to go. Let me hit record.
I hear a little bit of feedback on your end.
I do too. So put this further away from me. I think that'll be good.
Maybe I'll do the same. And never mind the remodeling I'm doing right now.
Very good. All right,
these walls will look pretty soon.
All right, awesome. All right, you guys, we're going to record this. If you guys have any questions, put it in the comments. And I'm excited to do this. The first time I've done this, we're on live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and live here with Tony, who is in, where are you again, Tony?
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
St. Louis area.
Awesome. Let's do it. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Really excited for today and to introduce you guys to today's guests. We have Tony Fonte out in St. Louis, Missouri, and really excited for you guys to meet him. Tony is a spiritual comedian. I went on his Instagram page and immediately knew that I wanted to have a fun conversation with him. He's sharing awesome light with his audience, and was really excited to talk to him today. And so without further ado from me, I'm going to introduce you guys to Tony. And Tony, if you could share with the audience so they're more familiar with you. I hear feedback here, so I'm going to switch something really quick before we go. Before I throw it to you, Tony, I'm going to just put this further away from me. Don't want that on the real podcast.
There you go.
Awesome. All right. Now it's for
How
the
you
number
doing?
one. the next angle will be out on the balcony, and you guys should see there's no.
You're gonna have the guys out there drilling. Hey, hold this phone for me so I can do this. That's how you're gonna be quiet.
I know, right? Well, cool. Well, Tony, I'm excited for the audience to meet you. If you could share with them so they're more familiar who you are, what you do, why you do it, all those good things.
Yeah, love to. First and foremost, honored to be on your show and on your podcast. Greatly appreciate that. So I love the talk, so I'm gonna try and condense this down as quickly as possible to give the gist to your listeners. So 9 years ago, it'll be 9 years next month. So in February, my wife passed away unexpectedly, leaving me to raise my then 5-year-old daughter, who turns 14 at the end of this month. So I've been raising my daughter for 9 years by myself. In the first few years of that, I was a mess. I was toxic. I was angry. I was insecure. I had all this pain inside of me. And I wanted to be this better dad, but I never really could quite get there. Because I live in an Italian family. I have anger, it just runs in my family. My brother, my dad, I see all this going on. I struggled I've been married 4 times, and I was a mess. Divorced 3, and then widowed 1 time. So I got remarried after my wife passed away, 2 years after she passed away. And that was a complete disaster, but I'm grateful for it because I am where I am today because of that. So there's multiple facets of where this journey takes me. And I realized this past year in 2019 that because I was struggling with my wife's death and why she died, what was really going on, and I realized that she died to save me. And because the whole journey of enlightenment, she left me a daughter. I had to have a daughter. If I had a son, I wouldn't change. And my daughter has been my greatest teacher on unconditional love, on understanding girls, understanding women with their needs, how to show up. And because when I got remarried after my wife died, and it only lasted, I guess technically 2 years, but we were in and out of separation in between that. She was toxic, I was toxic. It was a nightmare. So when she walked out, I said, okay, I'm done. I'm going to figure out why I'm so damn angry. I'm getting to the bottom of this because I'm done feeling this way. Because this question popped in my head shortly. I mean, it happened so fast. I don't know the actual timeline, but everything happened so fast that this question popped in my head, and it was like, Tony, your daughter, Kylie is my daughter. She's going to find a guy like you, meet him, and marry him someday. And she's going to find a guy just like you. So if she were to choose today, would you be happy with that choice? And it scared the hell out of me. And I stepped back and said, oh, hell no. I'd kill him. And then my higher self said, well, Tony, she's watching you. You got work to do. And that part still gets me emotional because that was the beginning of my journey. And that was 5.5 years ago that I began this journey. I said, I'm done. I'm breaking the cycles. I watched my brother have multiple heart attacks. I watched my dad have multiple heart attacks. And his health is deteriorating because of all this toxicity, all this anger, and all this trapped emotions because of how men are supposed to show up. And all these generations. And I said, I'm done breaking the cycle. And then it happened all about the same time that this journey began. A couple months later is when my dad he had 5 heart attacks and didn't even know it. And one day he was driving and he couldn't breathe because he was having congestive heart failure and his lungs were filling up with fluid. And he said, oh, I should probably go to the hospital. So he finally goes to the hospital. This is when the journey began. He ended up having to have emergency triple bypass surgery. And we're leaving the hospital. My brother, who doesn't have a filter, says, oh, this is going to happen to you too. And what I mean by that, when he said this is going to happen to you too, mean I was going to have a heart attack too. Because it runs in the family. It runs in the family. And I said, it's not. He goes, it does. And I said, do you know why it does that? Why it runs in the family? It's because we're a bunch of angry assholes. What's the number one reason for heart disease? Stress and anger. We carry that block and all that pain in our hearts. And that's why we struggle. That's why we have all these heart issues. because we're not processing all these trapped emotions because we're taught not to feel. And then we have all these insecurities and all this anger. Well, anger is all I grew up with. And every time I tried to get past the anger, I could never get past it. Just when I thought I was getting there, bam, something would happen. And that's what happened with this last wife of mine, which I'm so grateful for her. And I wish her the absolute best because she woke me up. And it began this journey. And I said, I'm dealing with this anger. I'm done. And at one point, I was in the church, and I had a pastor tell me, he's like, well, you may have to deal with this anger your whole life. You may have this issue, this struggle. But it's okay. Just keep giving it to God, and you'll be okay. And finally, one day, I keep struggling. And I said, why would God want me to suffer? More importantly, why would he want my family to suffer? And as I began this journey, I realized that's not true of God. That's not true of our nature. We're not supposed to suffer. We create this attachment to suffering. We create this attachment to struggle and this need for suffering. And it's this journey of dying to that separate self, the ego, and remembering who we truly are. And that's this journey I've been on for the last 5 years, and really understanding this piece of this non-separate of who we are, this enlightened beings that we are, has been in the last 2 years. But it's been a fast evolution. It's just crazy, which has been painful at times. I feel like I'm dying. People think that when you're spiritually awakening that everything goes all smooth and you're just all kumbaya and happy. But no, you feel like you're going crazy sometimes. I mean, I'm sure you probably experienced some of that too. So I went on this journey. All I wanted to do was deal with anger. I wanted to deal with this anger because I've never been able to get past that anger and the insecurity and the toxicity, which anger is just a secondary emotion to fear. Fearing not good enough, fearing being rejected, fearing abandonment. But it's been passed on for generations and generations in my family. That's why it runs in the family. And I said, well, that shit runs out with me. I'm done. And my brother's like, well, I did too, because he had major heart attacks, like I said. He actually had his first heart attack at 41, died 3 times, brought him back, had a bypass surgery, and he got out a week before my mom died. My mom died 2 years after my wife did. Same month, a week apart, just 2 years later. And then my dad goes down to hill 2 years after that. And I said, I'm done. And he's like, okay, I thought that too. And I go, no, I'm not coming from this place of pride and ego. I'm getting to the bottom of this. And all I wanted to deal with was anger. And through this journey, I was opened up. I went down the rabbit hole and opened up and went deeper and deeper and deeper into who I am and why I've struggled, why I've suffering. Years past, lives past, of why I've suffered, why I've struggled, why I've held on to it. And I began one by one healing those, letting those emotions, those trapped stories and traumas to heal and release. And from that, I began to find peace and more freedom and breaking that cycle. And then I've been on this journey. I was doing life coaching at one point because I thought that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to help people and serve people, help them break that toxic cycle, especially men, so they can show up for their wives, show up for their daughters, to break the cycles for them. And I just wanted to end anger just to become the best dad I could be. And here I am 5.5 years later saying, I did good. I'm finally that dad. My daughter is getting ready to go into high school, which I'm still trying to grasp my head around. Becoming 14, she's becoming a woman, a young woman. And I'm going, wow. Now I'm on a different journey now because she's going into this new need of woman, which is all helping me grow even more as she becomes more independent. Versus the first 8 years of my wife's death, we were connected. And I struggle now. She's still healing from the pain that I inflicted on her. But I'm also healing her because I'm healing myself. And she sees me showing up a lot more. So as I heal, I step into more of who I am, my higher self, the true self that I am. And it allowed me to get to this point where I've created this, I can't even think of the word really, this revolution called laughing through life. Because now I can laugh, even when life seems like it's falling apart. And I've allowed my gift of humor and helping people smile and laugh and realizing that, giving them the awareness that they have the power to smile and laugh, even when they're stressed, even when they're frustrated, even when they're in so much pain. They still have that power to laugh because there's healing in laughter. They're stressed, even when they're frustrated, even when they're... So something happened with the live feed there. I'm not sure what happened there.
No worries. We'll edit all this out. I just didn't want to interrupt your flow.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's like stops. Says thanks for joining and somehow it stopped my live feed, and then it started feeding back to me. So totally threw me off.
Keep going. You're flowing. I'm really enjoying this. You've inspired me a lot already.
Yeah. So the laughter, the piece, because I've always been able to sense people's pain, and I've always been able to make them laugh. Which a lot of comedians, they do that on that surface level. The problem is they're hiding their own pain. And that's why they make people laugh, because they don't want other people to feel the pain that they're feeling. If you look at Robin Williams, he ended up killing himself, right? But the guy was so freaking hilarious. I love Robin Williams. There's a lot of human pain. That's kind of how I was before. I masked my pain through laughter. But the difference now is I'm freely standing in who I am. Is I have that gift of making people laugh. I have that gift of being able to be spontaneous and take a story and sense the energy of the room or the area I'm in, and being able to make people laugh and just take it and go and go and go and just have people dying, including myself. I crack myself up, and you should. But I've been able to do that, and been able to utilize that. But I was still doing things different. I was still doing what I thought everybody thought I should be, how I should show up. I got to be a life coach. I got to do it this way. I got to follow this program. But I always found resistance because it wasn't true to who I really am and how I'm supposed to show up. But I had to experience that to get to this point. I had to experience what I didn't want, so I know what I want. But I also had to still continue to heal, to continue to grow, continue to evolve, continue to really step into the flow of who I am. So then it was this past year, I had a coach mentor of mine, his wife, who's very, very, very powerful. She kept sensing that something was off with me. And finally one day she says, Tony, this is not what you're supposed to do. I feel that you're supposed to be some kind of an entertainer, maybe stand-up comedian. And I felt resistance immediately. I'm like, oh, no, I don't know about the comedian side of things. I kept resisting, but I'm like, but I'll do some more funny stuff. I'll keep this stuff separate, but I'll do some kind of things and still bring humor to things. But the more I've grown and continue to grow and evolve, the more I realized that's who I am. Well, then it came up again this past October. This is how soon it's been. This past October, I'm like, this is where I'm at. This is who I'm supposed to be. I'm a spiritual comedian. I'm a spiritual teacher. I use transformational comedy to help people laugh pain out of existence, to laugh struggle out of existence, to laugh all that suffering out of existence, so they can really laugh into the person that they're meant to be, created to be, and how they're supposed to show up. That's how I'm supposed to show up, and using both, because I'm an empath as well, so I can feel people's deepest pain and understand where they're coming from and help them heal those stories and traumas. So I have that gift as well. So I mix the two, and it's a blast. So I'm learning and growing and creating based off that, and helping people laugh to deeper connections, to deeper relationships with their kids or their spouse, being able to attract that person in to their life, because we're all energy, we're all vibrational beings, and we attract how we're feeling, not what we think, what we want. That sends out a signal, because we can, like, I want this, I want that. But if we're not matching that, because we have all these stories and we're holding on to this suffering, this need to suffer, we're not going to attract that. So it's about releasing and healing all that, but using comedy, using laughter, using humor to do that. Because life is supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be exciting. We're not supposed to just go through life just going through the motions. We're not supposed to do that. I mean, we're supposed to freaking have fun. And I have people like, Tony, you're not serious enough. Hell no, I'm not serious. I don't want to be serious. I love to have fun everywhere I go. Everywhere. I'm doing something stupid with my daughter or whatever, just having fun. Usually I'm embarrassing her, but that's besides the point. That's my right to do that. But having fun with her, and she has fun, and we're always doing. She's like, Dad, you're being bored. Do something fun. And I'm like, man, I put these stakes too high. Now she expects this all the time, but it's fun, and she's watching me evolve and watching me grow. Which at the same time, I'm healing her because I'm healing myself. And now I'm going, I've done good. I'm finally in that place that I'm this great dad. I'm the man that I've always wanted to be, and I continue to strive to be more. Now, how do I take all of this and serve humanity? Because that's what we're here. We find our gifts and our talents, and we serve humanity with that. To create this abundance, to create this prosperity, but to have fun along the entire journey. It's not meant to, when I get there, I'll be happy. When I get there, I'll have peace. When I get there, I'll have confidence. When I have this, when I have that. It's like, no, now. And continue to do that along the journey. Do I still struggle? Sure. Do I laugh through it? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I gotta, I gotta step back and deal with it, but that's okay. We're still growing and we're human in their experience. But I can laugh. So I got into a wreck on December 2nd. I got rear-ended at a dead stop by a SUV going 50 mile an hour, just barreled into me. Didn't even stop, just totaled my car, near-death kind of experience, which my guys have channeled through me to tell me, hey, we had a purpose for this. You just had to experience it because you were still holding on to the past, so we had to wake you up. But at the same time, I was able to walk away. The cops, everybody was like, I don't know how you walked away. And I'm standing there. I'm laughing with the cops. I'm laughing with the firefighters. I'm laughing in the emergency room. I had the doctor laughing. I had the receptionist laughing. All within a matter of moments after the wreck and hours after the wreck. And people are like, how are you able to do it? I'm like, this is what I do. We can have fun in these moments and not being attached. And all this did is create more stories for me to laugh about and share this wreck. I'm like, here's how we do it. We laugh. We can be stressed and be miserable and make everybody else miserable because we're so stressed and frustrated and wonder why that we're not connected with our spouses, our kids more, and they're disrespecting us, which is really we're not respecting ourselves. Or we can freaking laugh through it all and have fun along the entire journey as we are realizing life and realizing everything that we desire. Every dream, every moment, every experience that we want to experience, that we desire, we can have. It's just a matter of letting go of that old separate self and realizing that you are a powerful, divine being that has this energy, this power inside you to co-create what you choose. But right now, you chose to create the life that you're living at the moment. Even if it sucks, you created it. But it's now that you can wake up and realize that you can move. You can change your reality. You can change all of that and freaking laugh at it the whole time. You can laugh and cry and be angry all at the same time. I've done it, and I share it with other people. I'm like, here's what's going to happen. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, and get angry. And sometimes you're going to do all three. And they're like, how's that going to happen? I go, trust me, it's a gift. Watch it. And they're doing that. They're cussing at me, they're crying and laughing, and telling me they love me all at the same time. And it's fun. And then I'm laughing even more, and I'm making fun of them. And then I'm like, I got to step into this more. And that's where the laughing through life was born. Helping people laugh pain out of existence. Laugh their way to their real, true self, to the better version of themselves. Laugh their way to better relationships. Laugh their way to their passion, to their dreams, and experiencing a magical life. That's my word for 2020, magical. Helping people live magical lives that they thought weren't possible, but laughing the whole damn way. It doesn't seem like they're doing work, like they're doing transformative work, because they're laughing and they're having fun. When do we learn the most? When we're having fun. When do kids learn the most? When we're having fun. Let's stop with the non-fun crap and start having some fun.
I love it. Tony, you just said so many things that inspire me right there, and I'm just going to choose to a few things that you inspire me to say to the audience, and just awesome. First and foremost, the example that you're setting, because anybody out there listening, if not the best, one of the best ways that we can help any other human being is by our own example. So what you're showing, and you hit on it right away when you talked about your daughter watching you and how she's being your best teacher, which is awesome. That's a side note, like kids that are just these unconditional loving little beings, and
yes.
Girls. I mean, I understand exactly what you meant, what you just described, and it's awesome how you describe that and how you're aware of that. Because like with this episode, and if you guys are watching this live right now, definitely tune back to the beginning at some point, or when I release the full episode, and listen to Tony's full story that he just shared, because it was awesome. So many parts that he shared as far as just what for anybody would probably be rock bottom, like losing a spouse, and what that does to to spiral us into just a really dark place, and for him to choose not to stay there indefinitely, but to decide that he was going to be that example for his daughter is just so awesome. There's so many lessons there, and all of us out there, we've experienced challenging times, and maybe it was a death, maybe it was something else, and Tony's just a great example on how it's not what makes us feel how we're feeling is never the thing. It's how we choose to respond to the thing. And he just highlighted that with the car accident. And I love how it wasn't a blame thing, because you can't feel good and laugh and be blaming at the same time. So you have to choose. So it was never like, even though, obviously you can't rear-end yourself. So, so obviously, it was, but just whatever you needed to see and whatever needed to unfold for you. And, we never know all the reasons why things are happening. Well, we can see some reasons why they're happening as things unfold. And even if it was like, you never know if just by Tony making those, those paramedics and the doctors or the people that are around laugh, and them being like, damn, if this guy just experienced this and can laugh through this, maybe I can. You have no idea what your example can do for people around you that are witnessing you do what you do. And this is for everybody out there that, that is experiencing whatever you're experiencing right now. So you said so many beautiful things there, and I'm just inspired to make sure that the audience sees that, whenever you're feeling how you're feeling, it's never the thing. It's easy to want to blame the thing. And yes, I guess if we took a poll and 100 out of 100 people might say that thing is terrible. And at the same time, you're human, so don't make yourself wrong if you're grieving, if you're sad, if you're depressed. It's all part of the human experience. Just know, though, that choosing, as long as you choose to feel that, again, it's okay. But that's still a choice. You can still choose to appreciate some of the lessons that we always learn from any challenging experience. Appreciate those, and now propel you to your journey. Like Tony mentioned, he wouldn't be on the track that he's on right now if it weren't for all the challenges. That goes for all of us. We wouldn't be as clear as we are today about the things that we desire, the things that we want, things that we don't want, if we hadn't experienced every single moment of our life up until today. Great news for all of us if we're in a time where we don't really know what direction we want to go right now. Maybe we're a little confused. 2020, we just started, and maybe you're like, I'm excited about 2020, but I don't really know what I want to do right now or what I want to experience. That's okay. The more life that you experience, it might happen right now in this moment from something that you hear on this podcast. It might be from anywhere. But when we have questions in life about what we want to experience, when we're ready to receive the answers, we'll receive them. And the life experience is what's going to allow you to receive it. You might be chilling there watching Netflix and something that you had a question about on how you can be healthier, how can you have better relationships, or how you can have finances come to you. You could be doing anything and the answer can come. But just know that the more life experience that any of us live, the more clear we're going to be on all of this. So you said so many awesome things there, and I wanted to flow some energy out because I knew that whatever was going to come out was going to come out right there. But you inspired me so many different times through that, what you're just sharing. And so now, Tony, for you, I mean, now you're on this journey, spiritual comedian, which is awesome, life coaching, and I just love that so much because in the moment of, you could have been, and this is the last thing I want to share, I'm going to ask you a question. In the moment of laughter and joy and happiness, in that moment, that's all that exists. All that ever exists for any of us is right here, right now, this moment. And so I'd never, if someone's around me and they want to label themselves or someone else, maybe someone wants to say, I'm a depressed person, or I'm an anxious person, or they're, labels don't work with me because it's always in the moment. So in the moment of laughter, are you depressed? No, you're laughing, you're happy, you're joyful in that moment. And maybe that might be the only moment all day where you are, but in that moment, that's what you are in that moment. So I love what you're doing, and as you evolve, I'm happy that we're connected now because I want to see how it evolves. I've never heard the term spiritual comedian in the same sentence. Maybe it exists, maybe it doesn't, but I'm excited to see how that evolves with you. What's that look like here for you going into 2020? Like, what's your vision? And so you're life coaching, one-on-one, and then also basically when you're doing your comedy. So how does it work? What does it look like for you right now?
Sure. So, and that's the part that's evolving and changing now. So I'm rewriting some of my vision because it's completely different. So I'm shifting and moving away from the life coaching piece of it, where as I'm supposed to be up on the stage more, but I'm doing a lot of different things. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm doing more events. I actually had someone reach out to me last night saying, hey, if you want to do a stand-up comedy with me, I'm like, dude, this would be fun to do that. And learn that. And I said, yeah, because that's something new for me to actually step out and do the comedy piece. And I'm like, but I've always done it with people in front of me and when I'm out and about, but never from the stage. So it's a little scary, but I know that I don't need to fear because that's who I'm supposed to be. And that's where I'm headed. But I also got to recognize, hey, there's fear. You can't just say, oh, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. But that doesn't serve you. It's like, oh, I'm a little afraid, but I'm going to transcend this and move through that, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this thing. And it's funny how you're talking about you can learn something. I want to step back just for a second, then I'll share more with you, because you're talking about how you can find magic in an event or something, right? Or in Netflix is what you said. And it's funny you say that, because I just went and saw Frozen 2 with my daughter. And you wouldn't think that you can get anything out of that, but man, if you really are awake and open, you see spiritual messages in that stuff. And I'm like, someone at Disney is an awakened being, or a bunch of people that they get it. Because talk about how they're afraid of stepping into the unknown. I don't know if you've ever seen it or if you know, but it's about stepping into the unknown. I'm afraid of what I'm risking if I follow you into the unknown. The unknown is who we truly are. The unknown is that infinite, powerful love, that power that we are, which, by the way, is something I'm working through, because I just learned recently that because I used to be like, oh, I'm so afraid of how powerful I am, because we do fear that. Many of us struggle. I'm guaranteed there's a lot of people who are watching this who struggle with being powerful, because they've been so repressed so long that they don't feel worthy. They don't feel like, holy crap, I've screwed up so much. How can I be that powerful? What the hell am I going to do with that much power? Because they've been taught that they're not enough. They're not good enough. They're rejected, like I was by my dad, which I'm so thankful for my dad. I told my dad, thanks for screwing my life up. He said, what? I'm like, thank you, because I am where I am today because of you. But now you get to see me move and change and do something, and I'm healing you without saying a damn word. And I'm allowing him to have his journey. And he's suffering right now, but he chooses that. He feels he needs to. And I had to step back and allow him to have it. My brother's still like, I don't know how you can't do that. I'm like, step back. And when I start to suffer, I realize I'm doing it and step back again, because that's his journey. I've already suffered enough, and now I get to choose differently. But the unknown, I want to go back to that, the unknown part. What I'm risking, and I followed you into the unknown, that powerful love. I realized that I was afraid of love that powerful. Because it's powerful. It's scary because it's unknown. And then I had a dream. And in the dream, it was the collective, and actually Jesus was in this dream. And I was hanging on to him, but I had this rope. I was deathly afraid to, with all this baggage. And he says, let go. And then there was a collective around, and they were laughing at me. Just let go. Just let go of that. And it was the past and all the pain and all the fear. And I was like, no. He goes, let go. And I looked forward, and there's this waterfall. And he goes, let me tell you this. Because our dreams, it doesn't matter who's in the dream. It plays its part in our subconscious of who we are, whether it's our higher self, the divine feminine, divine masculine, or whatever. But it just uses people, right? And so he's like, there's a waterfall. I'm scared of this waterfall. He goes, no. The waterfall is where you're going to be going into this beautiful power of who you are, this beautiful love. Now, you can choose to let go of this baggage now, and you're going to have fun when you fall down this waterfall. It's going to be fun, and you're going to be screaming, wee, all the way down, and just having fun with all of us. Or you can hold on to this, hold on to it. By the way, you're going down anyway. So it can be less fun and kind of painful, or you can let it go on your own and do it. But either way, you're going to let this stuff go. That was just kind of this dream. And that's kind of where I am. And it's like this unknown peace. So we can get this stuff from movies, because there's so much there in spiritual stuff, because everything's spiritual if we look at it. There's either lower vibrational or higher vibrational. We can get something. The more I awaken, then I was watching another Disney movie, so I'm like, holy crap, because my daughter likes to watch this, we were watching Descendants. And the guy goes, our parents chose their path, but we don't have to choose what they chose. We get to choose who we want to be. And right now, everybody who's going to watch this are choosing who they want to be at this moment. We can play the victim and blame everybody else and everything, which I did for freaking years. Creating this toxic guy that I was, this angry, resentful, bitter, just so insecure. Or we can accept the fact that this is where we are at this moment and make the choice and say no more. Like I did, saying I'm done. I'm breaking our cycle. I'm breaking my family cycle, our generational cycles, and I'm moving forward. I will not have a heart attack because it runs in the family. I don't buy into this, it runs in the family stuff anymore. Because we can turn genes off and on by our emotional state. It's about healing those trapped emotions. Man, the Eastern medicine had it right. That we store all this pain in our body and create the illnesses. And it's about releasing all of that and transcending all of that, becoming this freaking high magical being that we are. So I went off on a tangent there to get back to.
Hold on, I'm going to pause you for a second because you said I got to comment on a few things that you said right there. And first, because this will help somebody in the audience for sure when it comes to, because you mentioned stress and how we know that stress is the number one killer. However, we take it for granted. I want to share scientifically why that it's so damaging to us. And this isn't to scare you, but just to help anybody listening to be aware. Every second that any of us are alive, our body is producing several million brand new cells. And what determines whether those cells are going to be wellness or dis-ease, lack of ease, dis-ease, stress, is what your vibe is, what your mood energy is right now in the moment. If those cells can only be a match to what your energy is. So if you're stressed, those cells have to be stressed out cells. And so not a big deal if you're stressed for a second, a couple seconds, an hour, even a full day. You might have a headache by the end of the day. You might start to feel symptoms of illness. Do it for a few days. For sure, you'll get sick. If you notice yourself getting sick a lot, just ask yourself, don't make yourself wrong for it. Have I been stressed consistently leading up to this illness? 100% of the time, it's going to be yes for anybody out there. And so being aware of that is awesome because now you can ask yourself, have I been overly stressed? And if you can catch it before momentum builds and it turns into a physical illness or symptom, then you have a much easier chance of being well and being healthy and all these things. You also mentioned the movie thing with Frozen. I have not seen it. However, you're the second person that's mentioned it. I saw somebody mention it on social media, and I don't have a young daughter to go watch it with, so I haven't. But I love how the movies and just life to me, Tony, is a movie, and we're the star of our movie. And yes. I love how we get to choose, and you said it a couple of times, we're choosing right now what we want to see on that movie screen. And it's really, you can get excited about that because if your movie isn't one that is exciting you, that you wouldn't want to go to the movie and see, doesn't feel adventurous, it doesn't feel fun, it doesn't have, the suspense or, the love story or whatever it is that you want to see on your movie screen, the good news for all of us is we can decide that that's something that we want to see. We don't have to know how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, who it's going to be, if it's in the case of a relationship, any of these details. But be excited that if we're enjoying the journey and just allowing ourselves to let the synchronicities of life present themselves when we're ready to see them, then that movie screen will fill in exactly how we want it to fill in. And when we get excited about something, we're like, ooh, that's what I want to see on my movie screen. And now I have a great idea on how to move towards it. Now we can just enjoy the journey going towards it and not need to have the screen today. You said this earlier also. We don't need to see the whole episode already played out to feel happy today. We can just be happy where we are right now in the movie and knowing that we're moving towards what we want to create. And last thing I want to say, that you inspired me when it comes to being afraid of how powerful we are. This kind of boils into, when people don't feel like they're worthy of the success that they want, of the love that they want, of the happiness that they want. The good news for every single person, and I love sharing this so much, really one of my favorite, if not my favorite thing to share with humanity is that there's no special breed of human. Like we're all, if Tony's good enough, if Noel's good enough, if you out there watching is good enough, then we all are. And the good news for all of us is the same energy, call it God, call it the universe, call it love, call it all that is, call it spirit, call it source energy, call it whatever you want to call it, flows to and through and is truly who all of us are when we're connected with it, when we can actually feel it and when we can see it and when we can hear from it. So when you're feeling good, when you're feeling loving, when you're feeling happy, you're connected. Those ideas that pop into your mind in those states and those frequencies, you can trust those. So when you have these powerful questions of how, you don't need to know the answer right now, but just know that when those answers probably won't come, most likely, almost never, probably not ever, is when you're in a crap mood. So don't make yourself wrong from it, but just know that you're not connected to that source, to that, call it God again, call it the universe, call it whatever you want to call it. You're not really connected to where you can hear it in that moment. You're never truly disconnected because that's who we truly are. We're out here living this physical life, and that is the non-physical energy that's flowing through all of us, having us breathing, having our heart beating, all of these things. And so we're all worthy, we're all powerful, and it's just a matter of in the moment. This is what gives me peace, is because you don't have to like judge yourself on this like scale of, was I powerful in 2019, and that's going to determine if I'm powerful right now. That has nothing to do with it. Am I going to be powerful tomorrow? Has nothing to do with it. It's right here, right now. What's my vibe? If I can at least be at peace, content, then I know I'm connected. Then I can actually hear great ideas. Then I can see synchronicities that I want to see, and then I can build momentum to where that peace and content can quickly turn into happiness, joy, bliss, nirvana, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to describe it. And this could be a joyful life experience for all of us, and it's all a choice. So I appreciate you inspiring all that out of me, Tony. And I forgot what the question was that I asked you before this. Hopefully you remember.
I remember it. So I like to go in circles every day. I usually circle back. You're asking me what's going on, what am I doing, and how am I using this spiritual comedy and this transformational comedy. But I was like, wait, you said something and you inspired me, so now I got to share that. So it's just going back and forth.
And if any of you guys watching this live have any questions, put them in here, and at the end we'll answer them. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah. So, and you actually inspired some more things into me too, so we can go on forever. But to fully answer the question, I'm moving away from the life coaching piece because that's not where I'm supposed to be one-on-one. I'm supposed to be helping the masses, and actually just had a dream the other night, dude. I mean, I've been getting a lot of channeling through my dreams lately, and they're very freaking powerful on this light that's showing up, and how at first I'm afraid of this light because that's that power, that fear, that love, right? But I also heard this voice that just relax, and we're already whole and complete. We got to realize that piece of that. So I'm moving away from the coaching, and I'm moving more into this transformational comedy, using humor, using laughter, using comedy to help people laugh pain out of existence, to help them realize and move away from their separate self, saying that they're separate from something and they're struggling, this victim, to become that best version of themselves they possibly can be. And they continue to take those tools and continue to do that. But using laughter and comedy to do that. So I'm shifting my podcast from, well, I call it boring right now because it's just me sharing stuff. And I'm like, it's not how I really want to show up. So I'm going to be recording. I was doing some skits, I was recording videos and using skits and then putting them on YouTube and then having some kind of lessons on there. And I'm like, no, I want to go even greater than that. So it's laughing pain out of existence. It's laughing this pain in relationships so we can build these deeper connections with our kids, our spouse. But it's also to laugh our way to our passion, our excitement, and our purpose. It's all about laughing through life. And it's using this comedy, but mixing the transformation piece, the coaching, the empath, and helping people release that pain, release that old story, release that old self, die to that old self, and then ascend back up as this person who they truly are and step into that power so they can live this amazing life of having fun. But having fun along the entire journey. And you said something earlier that we block it off when we're not in this state of happiness. We block that off. We can't have what we want flow to us when we are blocking it from where we're stressed, we're playing victim, or angry. We can't. But is it all useful? Absolutely. It's all useful for us, and we got to stop beating ourselves up over when we do. It's just become aware and say, oh, this is where I'm at. But it's still useful because there are no mistakes. There are no coincidences. Everything that led you to this point has led you to this point. And it's all going to be used for that. All of it. Even if you screw up today, still used. You can't get it wrong because this is what you came here for. But it's just a matter of when you decide to make that choice. And that's what I want to use is this comedy piece. So I'm actually in the process of putting this membership program together to use these skit videos, but then put the transformational comedy piece, the educational piece, but it's still comedic, that they can go and get and have and download these videos to help them implement and laugh and learn to laugh and have fun and laugh at themselves the whole time. Then that's going to lead to events where I'm up live doing this type of stuff, bringing people on stage, helping them have breakthroughs right then, using that empath ability that I have and honing more and more and channeling more and more from the higher realms. and helping people step at it and learn to laugh and cry at the same time right there on stage and just make fun of it all. Make fun of the taboo stuff that our freaking world is facing right now. The society is facing. Someone's got to do it, but not have fun with it. And that's what I'm doing. Helping people do that. Laugh instead of trying to be so much pain and so much strict and clenched ass cheeks and walking around so like just squeaking because everything's so tight and they're so just tense. Let's let it down and heal ourselves, heal humanity, heal the consciousness, heal the collective, and change the world by letting the light shine and letting go of the darkness, because darkness is not that powerful. We give power to it, but light is more powerful. And it's about showing up as that light and allowing others to see that and allow them that light to start shine and realize, and then give them the reins and allow them to allow their light to shine. And it becomes a revolution, becomes a ripple effect of spreading light instead of so much animosity and anger and hate that we have going on, which is consuming so many people. And I know because I've been there.
Absolutely. I love it. It's so powerful what you're doing and what you're describing. And light is who we all truly are. You know, anybody out there listening, light is who you are. And the only way that light doesn't flow is if we restrict it. So we can restrict the light, and we can call it darkness if we want to, but it's just us resisting the light. We're just not allowing the light to flow. As soon as we stop resisting, we can let go, we can release, we can return back to love, we can return back to peace. Then the light flows through us, and we don't even have to try. we don't even have to try to be light. That's who we are. That's who we want to be. That's why we feel so. This is interesting that I'm going to say this next word. This is why we feel so light when we're letting the light flow. Light as far as the feeling light. So two different ways in English. I love how in English we use words to the same word for different meanings. But in this case, it actually goes. And I love what you're doing, because I'm always, what I love about social media is anytime anybody out there is smiling and laughing and joking and enjoying life or traveling or doing anything that they love, I'm rooting for every one of you, and I'm inspired by it, and I can feel the energy that you're sharing, and the people around you can too. And so I always caution, and this, I don't know why this is popping in my head right now, but I'm going to say it. If you ever notice, and this is not to make yourself wrong for it, but just an awareness, if you ever notice yourself feel any type of way if someone is whistling or singing or anything like that, just question how your vibe is in that moment, because it's impossible to whistle and sing if you're not in a good mood. Try it. It just doesn't work.
Yep.
So, and I've noticed that sometimes, I was at the gym and, I was just like, oh man, I didn't get the workout I was in, or I'm a little bit sore. I just wasn't in the space where I like to be. And then I noticed myself getting irritated by somebody whistling. And I'm like, this person's enjoying the heck out of their shower, and I'm over here worrying about this soreness that I have, and then it just snapped me out of it, being aware. And then I could return back. So all this stuff, I love it, because it just helps people. When you're helping people laugh, Tony, and you're helping people joke, then, like you mentioned, you're clear. You can receive, whatever you need to receive. You can get the aha moment. The light bulb can turn on, and then you can, and I also love how you mentioned so many times, and I know this is a big part, enjoying the journey all the way through, because what's the point? Every story that you hear where someone feels like they'll be happy when, it just doesn't work out that way. That's not how life works. You get there and you're still feeling the emptiness that you had. If you're feeling empty before you get to the destination that you want to get to, unfortunately, you'll be happy for 3.3 seconds, maybe a full day. And then by the next day, you're already like, I feel empty again. So we can all enjoy every moment of it and just treat it like an adventure movie. If you like adventure movies out there, or, I think everybody likes movies, no matter what type of movie you like, where you don't know what's going to happen all the way through. And we think as humans that we want to know how the whole plot goes, and we want to know all the details right now. If I don't know how it's going to happen, then I'm not even going to go on the journey. That's not how life works, and that's not how anything that we enjoy experiencing when it comes to movies. And life is just one movie that we're creating with our vibe and our moment-by-moment energy. So if that's not how the movie that you want to see, then why do we think that we want our lives to be that way? We don't. We'd be so bored if everything we could just think about what we, exactly what we wanted, the destination, and then we snap our fingers and we're there. What else is there to do? You experience it all, and then it's like, okay, I've lived for 2.5 years, and now I'm bored. It just
That would be kind of cool to be able to do every now and then, though. I'm not lying. I'd be like, hey, I'm going to go to the beach. I'm there.
I would
I'm
enjoy
cool
that part for sure. The teleportation, yes.
Yes. I'm down with that.
That is something
that's fun in itself to be able to do all that because you get to experience whatever you do. So, like, for me, I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to take my daughter and create these experiences. Do what lights your soul on fire. Do what's fun. If you're like, don't just get back to dreaming again. When you get back to dreaming, you start living that life. You cut off disease and you start living in that connection. You're like you said earlier, you can't fully cut off that connection that we are because that's who we are. But you can go down so low that you feel like you are. Because I've been depressed. I suffered depression. Told I was gonna suffer my whole life. Look at me now. And that was before my wife died. And when my wife died, I was scared out of my mind. Oh shit! I had this issue before. I can't go back to that, and I don't. So it's letting go. If you heal yourself, and that's the thing too. You got to get out of your ego and just trust and stop holding on to your beliefs. Because I held on to so many beliefs before, and it held me back. Now I'm just like, I don't know it, but I'm open to it because my beliefs have been shattered in the last 2 years. And just like, okay, I can see how it can happen. I want to experience that. Teleportation, all that, bilocating and all that other stuff. I'm like, sure, it's possible. I think at one point we were that way. But as humanity's grown and gotten so distant and separate, we've cut that off. And I think we're actually in a time now where we're starting to go back to that. I know that sounds really weird, but that's where I believe. That's what I feel, and I don't know all about it, and don't choose to. But we can, and I love that you say movie because that's my thing too. Because you hear some people say, it's your video game, and I like the idea of a movie because it's a show. Like I have Tony freaking Fonte, the Tony freaking Fonte show, Laughing Through Life. It's a show, but our life is a show. If we don't like a scene, well, we can rewrite the damn script. You see it all the time in Hollywood. Well, you don't see most of it. But you don't think they're like, ooh, I didn't like the way they came out. Let's rewrite this. Hey, I didn't like the way you said this. Let's reshoot this. Let's get more emotion. Let's go get more feeling, more connectedness into that. And they just redo it. And then they do the movie. They put it together and they run it and go, ooh, that didn't end. Or they allow the audience to see some of that and go, yeah, we didn't like that ending. Well, shit. Okay, let's go rewrite this ending. Let's go reshoot this piece. That's how life is. If you are not happy, stop trying to control the outside world. All the answers you ever seek and need are inside you. If you quiet yourself enough to hear that. And at the right moment, it will show up. You will hear it. And the more that you move away from that old ego self, the separate self, and you die to that piece of it, and you move more towards consciousness and that light, or whatever you want to call it, you're more connected and things start flowing. This is why I'm having dreams I'm having constantly, because it's telling me what's coming. It's telling me where I'm at. It's experiencing, and here's what's going to happen, but boom, here's how it's going to play out. It's amazing.
Absolutely. I love it. I want to see if anybody has any questions. I'm gonna slide over here. And might pause the Instagram video, but I'm gonna see if anybody on Facebook or YouTube put any questions. One
sure.
second. So I'm recording another podcast in 12 minutes. This time is flying. Tony, I want to talk to you for like hours.
I told you I could talk. Especially about this stuff. I love it.
A couple weeks ago, I had to space out my podcast recordings because I had them, which I should have known was not going to be possible. I had them like only an hour of space in between. And I'll only record 2 max in a day, really, normally. But now I have an hour and a half of space in between just to give myself more time, but I might need to space it even more because I like to talk just like you.
And that's the best. You can just keep going and going and going. Where it's not scripted, you just go.
Okay, we're good. Let's see if there's any on Instagram. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up. So if you guys have any questions watching live on either, ask it now or you can ask it later, and we'll always you can get in contact with me and Tony direct. All right, awesome.
Beautiful.
Oh, that ended. Well, yeah. Well, anything else, Tony, that you want to share with the audience? Because this is awesome. I'm really enjoying this. You've said so many inspiring things, and um, everything that you say, like I'm inspired to share lots of cool stuff. But I love your perspective on just life and just being able to help people with your example. Just get back into the moment and enjoy the moment, so that they can. Because I posted this, and I'll let this lead into anything else that you want to share. At the end of last year, 2019, I posted a video, and it was just a gratitude video, and I was so happy that 2019, out of every year of my life, was not the year that, and it wasn't about the year that I made the most money or did the most things or any of that external. It was just the year that I could say that I was the happiest in my life. And it wasn't for a bunch of reasons. It was just a choice that I've made, from 2017, 18, going into 2019, and all the life experience, that's what I wanted for me. And it felt so good to be able to say that, because I wasn't saying that from a place of anything external. It was all just how I was living
Yeah.
day to day. It didn't matter what it was. And of course, we could think of experiences that, are really fun experiences that we have, and throughout the course of a year and through life. But I want that for everybody. What you're describing is to be able to just enjoy life. We can't choose it for anyone, but we can be examples and help people with this awareness. And once someone chooses it for themselves, I'm so excited for you. And I want to see your movie play out, what you choose, because we're all so different. We all want to create different things. None of us want to live the same movie. So I'm just rooting for everybody out there, and I'm excited to see what everybody chooses to create. So, anything that you want to share with the audience as we close this out?
It's really about, I said this earlier, make the choice to make life magical this year. I mean, we're in January. You have plenty of time. And you know what? Not everything is going to go as you envision, but it's all going to be useful for you to grow. Not that you did anything wrong, because, yeah, 2019 wasn't the greatest for me in many areas, but I was at more peace. I was happier and I was laughing more. But it was all part of my plan for growth. Yeah, I would have chose something different, consciously, but it all happened to get me right where I am today. So no matter where you are, stop beating yourself up. Stop thinking that something's wrong with you. Stop thinking that you're broken. Stop thinking that you need something outside of you. Choose to have fun in the moments today, even when life feels like it's falling apart. Find something to laugh at. Because you know what? I can sit here and laugh now at my wife's death. I can find humor in it. But it took me a while to get there. I found the purpose in it. And I know people are like, how can you find humor in death? We can find humor in anything. Because in our purest state, we are humor. We are laugh. We are fun. We are bliss. It's all in us. So if you do anything, stop seeking outside of you. Go within and watch your life turn from where it is to seem like so magical. And you're going to have fun along the journey. Just if anything, have freaking fun. Find a way to have fun all the time, and not using outside sources to do that. Just have fun. Every experience you have. You go to the grocery store, have fun. You're at the movies, have fun. You're in a Walmart or Lowe's or something, a store, have fun. Be crazy. Don't worry about what other people are thinking, because they're judging you, but they're really judging themselves. Have fun. You're crying? Freaking laugh. Same time, yes, you can do it. I've seen it. I've had people doing it. I've done it myself. And realize that if you are holding on to a belief, but there's someone out there that can prove it wrong, that's doing it differently than what you believe, it's not a truth. It's just a belief. And don't hold on to your beliefs like I've been holding on to my baggage that I'm supposed to be letting go so I can go down the waterfall. Let go of the past. Let go of all of that. And live your life and laugh through life.
So good. So inspiring what you just said. I love that so much. And you inspired me to say one more thing that I'm going to share, because it's going to be super powerful for somebody out there if they've experienced death as well. And I've been sharing this more. I shared this a few episodes ago. And it's really interesting just talking about what we've been talking about with laughter, and just, and so anybody that you guys out there have lost, or, we'll all lose someone while we're alive, for sure. The interesting thing is we can still connect with that person where they are, whatever they're doing, from the energy of the loving times. Because they're no longer, and when we're out of these physical shells, we're no longer the energy of fear, doubt, worry, or anger, depressed. We're no longer that. All we are is love. We return back to love. So no matter what someone believes happens after we go, or what we do, if we come back and live more life, or whatever it is, that's not the point of this. We can connect with people that are no longer here if we can get the frequency of the loving experiences that we had with them. So if you're closing your eyes and you can feel a loving time that you had with someone that you truly love and that is no longer here, you can connect with that energy. You may get the goosebumps, which is them really speaking to you. And it can go even further to where there's stories of someone doing this in a park, sitting on a park bench and thinking about someone, just laughing and thinking about someone that they love and some of the fun times. And then up runs a dog that out of nowhere. And on the dog's collar is the name of the person that they were just thinking about. And the dog's just licking them. And I mean, it's just like there's so many cool things that we only are aware of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. You can learn every day until the day you go, and we'll still only be aware of the fraction of a fraction of a fraction. But just know that we're unlimited. Everything that Tony was mentioning when it comes to time travel and all that stuff, it's possible. And and nobody thought smartphone would be possible until now. And look, we're streaming this all over the place. I got my phone here, computer here, so everything is a possibility. But I was just inspired to share that with anyone that may have lost someone. Anytime someone passes over, transitions, whether I've met them personally or not, if they've given me even one moment of joy, like a lot of the musicians, I remember doing this a few times last year with some of the musicians that passed, and I just close my eyes and I connect with the feeling that they gave me through some of their music, and I just say thank you. I appreciate you. Whatever it is that you're choosing to do right now with your energy, like I know you're good, and I just want to tell you that I appreciate you. And it just feels so good, like to be able to know this. So hope that helps somebody out there if you experience a loss or experience a loss in the future, because it's an awesome part of just being energy. We're in these physical shells, but all in all, we're truly just energy.
We're energy, and science has proven that part of it.
Yeah,
you go down there, we're just all energy. And I would add to that on the when death happens, and something that I've learned is the relationship doesn't end. We think it ends when they're physically not here. It just changes states because they are energy. And as we start healing, like my wife shows up sometimes. My daughter has seen her, felt her. Actually, she did the other night because I wasn't thinking of her, but where my energy is and what I'm going through, I felt this touch on my head, and it went down my arm as I was driving by myself, and I was like, okay, I felt this once before. That was a spiritual, energetic, because you could feel it was like fingers, but it was energy in the way it was. And all of a sudden, I had chills shoot up through my body, and I was like, and it was a comforting, because I was walking through some stuff. It was a comforting, you're doing good, keep going, I'm here. We have spiritual presence all the time around us. It's where our energy is whether they're close and we can feel them or not. Whether you're thinking about them or you're just in a great energetic state, they're there with us all the time. I just wanted to share that real quick. You keep inspiring me too. Yeah, we got to shut up.
That's awesome. I'm tempted to contact my next guest and push it back, but I'm not going to do that to her. I don't know what part of the world she's in.
So we can continue this conversation.
I know.
That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as life evolves, I'm just happy to be connected with you now, Tony, and any future collaborations, I'm definitely open to them, and I'll share some stuff with you, and just excited to see what you choose to create now and going forward. And I know it's going to be filled with the awesome energy that you brought here, and I definitely appreciate that, and I'm excited to see what you and everybody out there chooses to create. And just remember, there's no special breed of human out there. The energy that you feel from Tony, that you feel from me, or from anyone, that's you. Like, it's just a reflection of you, and we can feel that when we're able to be in the vicinity of it. You may not be able to feel it, always, because we're human, and don't beat yourself up. We've said that a lot this episode. But I just rooted for everybody out there, and appreciate you, Tony, for sharing your light on this episode. This will be definitely helpful for anybody. If you guys have any questions for me or for Tony, put them in the comments of wherever you're viewing this, and we'll see them for sure, and we'll help in any way that we can. But I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys out there for tuning in to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Definitely share this episode as the rumbling gets louder, but it subsided every time for the whole episode, which I appreciate. Definitely share this episode with anybody that you are inspired to share it with. There's no coincidence. You will definitely impact them by sharing it, and you'll feel really good to you. And continue to rate and review this podcast. Make it easier for people to find it so that they can also feel this light. And appreciate you guys. If you're not already subscribed, definitely subscribe. And we'll talk to you guys soon on another episode, sending positive vibes to all of you. Happy New Year. I think I'm going to say that all year. I've decided. Still the 8th.
Happy New Year. You can decide to be happy at any moment, right?
For sure.
I like that. I like that.
I love it. Well, talk to you guys soon. Sending positive vibes to you all, and I appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you later on.
Boom.
Awesome. That was fun, Tony. That was really good.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I love going back and forth and sharing these truths and just about getting there. And I know we have a short period of time, so I can go on and just sharing some stuff and having fun and just I love doing this. I love having conversations like this and just going back and forth and learning new things and learning, like teleportation. I'm like, I don't have a freaking clue, but it's got to be possible. I bet you it is possible. And
as long as Elon Musk is on the planet, we have a good shot.
I think so. So, but I think we have the ability to, without having that kind of stuff. I think, as we're going through this new change and new year, and there's a lot of the astrology and all that, I still don't understand the heck out of that. I just have people that do, and I just tell me what I need to know and make it I can understand it. They're like, there's going through some changes, energy, Earth is awakening, all the healers and all the light workers are coming out to get back on this journey, starting differently now. So, absolutely. As a light worker, as we are healers and light workers, that's what we're coming out doing more of.
Absolutely.
To get back. So I'm excited doing more of this. I definitely want to have you on mine because I'm doing a revamp and rechange. So let me do I got a couple episodes that I'm putting out that I already did. And then let me figure that out. And then I'll reach out, and I would love to have you on. We can just continue a conversation, but let you be on the other end of that and have more conversation. So
you get a super dose of my energy when I'm the guest, because I'm actually being asked questions, and then I get to really flow out. And on these, you're getting a super dose of me anyways, because I'm just having fun, and that's my only intention, is to have fun and impact. And at the same time, I'm like, okay, I want Tony to talk more, because it's
yeah. And I got to realize that too when I have guests on too, because I love to freaking talk, and I'm not ashamed of that. I'm like, I love to talk. I'm a Leo. I love to be on stage, and I love to be the center of attention.
For sure.
But I also love hearing from other people, because you inspire me. You said some things. I mean, it's just like we're all inspiring each other to keep growing and evolving, because there's no coincidence, like we talked about.
Yeah.
It's about I needed to hear that. I need to hear that. I mean, we could go on for a freaking hour. This could be like a 4-hour freaking conversation.
I know. I'm gonna take all this energy and flow it into this. I'm recording one right now with another lady who's trying to get on now. But this is a conversation I would have wanted to have with you anyway, Tony. I'm happy we recorded it so we can share it and all these things. So I'll talk to you soon. I may be inspired and leave you a voice message or something after I record.
And I'll reach out to you soon, and once I figure things out, and then we'll get you on this show too, because I want to do that. I want to start changing and bringing more healers and light workers on to the show.
Sounds like a plan to me.
So, awesome, man. Have fun on the next one.